If I could get my audio up, if that's all right, if it's not already, and yeah, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ruaridh. I'm an artist from, North Ayrshire in Scotland, which is near Glasgow. I do have a tendency to talk very fast, and I know that I have an accent, so just stay with me. I'll do my best to go at a manageable pace. I'm going to be giving you a very quick talk about what artists are supposed to call their practice, but really it's just the shit that I do. I'm going to tie it in a little bit to the exhibition that's at the back, and talk about what I'm going to do for you guys this morning. I think the most important thing I want to start off by saying is that I'm not a coder, I'm not a programmer. I'm just an artist, which feels a little bit like the start of an AA meeting. I used to be a musician, and then when COVID hit, I started to become more interested in telling stories, and that doesn't necessarily mean narrative stories, but embedding some sort of story or some sort of humanity into the art that I make. And what I'm going to talk about today is my kind of mini manifesto that I use myself for that, and something which I would love to see more of in digital art as well. So I'm looking for, personally, more surrealistic thought in digital art. That doesn't mean surrealism as in the art movement necessarily, because that's quite problematic as a movement, but it does mean that the ideas that motivated that movement, I think we could see more of in works of digital art. So I'm talking about things like dream logic, things that don't necessarily make any sense outwardly, but have an internal consistency. Stuff that is abstract, sure, but that has a beating human heart at the center of it, so that you can sense what it is that the artist is putting into it, and that the artist is able to convey something. Which is not to say that that doesn't happen. There's plenty of digital art that's good at doing that, but I think that there could be more of this. Every one of us in this room is an artist, could be an artist, is probably internally an artist, and I think that making art accessible and putting yourself into that art and everybody connecting over that is the most important thing that you can do. And to be honest, as I said to a couple of people in here last night, you don't do things like this for the glory, you don't do it for the money or for anything else. You do it because the connections that you make, and the connections that you make with other artists, with people who interact with the things that you do. It's all about having tracks and traces of yourself within your artwork, and that way that it is something which is universally you. But of course, no one cares about my stupid ideas, right, apart from myself. And if you're an artist and you think, I would really love to use fungi communicating to control MIDI notes, or you think I would love to make weather patterns in the sky translate onto video art, that's fine, but your audience probably doesn't care as much as you think about what the process is. But what's important is it's a process which is meaningful to yourself, so that you start with an idea and you see it right through to the end and make it internally consistent all the way. And then that way, eventually people might care less about the process, but instead about the connection with the broader work of art itself. And when I say work of art, I don't just mean installations or whatever. I mean digital music, I mean, just AV sort of stuff, or even just film. But all of these things together, when they're combined, can connect and make that kind of story able to be told. You should leave yourself in the creation, but then set it free. That's quite an important thing. So I would say that you have to cede control over your own artwork. Sometimes that means literally just leaving it in the hands of other people. Sometimes it means deliberately obfuscating what you do to create it, so that when you try to go back, you either have to take a different approach to it, or you're forced to kind of do the job again to work out what you're doing. You should be able to make mistakes. You should be able to let other people play with things and break them. The tarot installation that we have at the back there is a great example of that. I built it knowing that it would then be left alone for people to do the wrong thing with, and then that's what happens. But seeing the wrong thing happen then makes it the right thing. It makes it about how people are connecting and asking questions and speaking about it. And so it should be built in. The thing that I'm going to do today, which I'll talk about in a little second, I have no visual on my screen about what I'm going to be doing. I'm doing it completely blind and just using the cues which are in the visual component as a sort of way of me navigating that. And in a previous project where I worked with somebody who was a zither player, I processed their zither and built a beautiful visual interface to be projected, but it was so representative of what was actually happening, because it had representations of the strings of the zithers and waveforms on the strings, that eventually I got rid of the actual performance interface completely and just performed using this pretty abstract looking screen. And that meant that I wasn't obsessing about where, what number certain things were at, or what parameters were changing, or whether an LFO was signaling the way that it should or shouldn't be. And instead, I was being inspired by the visual aspect of it, and then being able to almost improvise with myself without having to worry about the minutiae of what everything was doing. That then leads to keeping it simple, even if it's a lie. So something like you're going to see today is very, very simple visually. There's an awful lot going on under the hood. Again, the things that are through in the gallery room there, they're very, very simple, especially the tarot. It's just 3 cards that you place, stuff happens. That's it. There's not much more to it than that. Under the hood, there's obviously a lot more there, but I want to be able to have, I've got 2 teenagers. I want my teenagers to be able to come and play with the stuff that I make. I want my parents who are in their 70s to be able to come and play with the stuff that I make. And the tarot was originally designed for an outdoor performance where I would sit at a fire with a setup. Nobody cared whether it was a computer running it or what the audio was like. They just wanted to come, sit by the fire, draw the cards together, talk about it, and make stories, make connections, and leave as a group while entering as an individual. So that simplicity is really, really important for things. If my children can't immediately go up and work out how to play with something or to interact with it, then I'm probably not doing it very well. I want to make sure that as wide an audience as possible are able to connect, because I think that that's the point. And then, probably most importantly for me, this is my mantra. Not everything needs to be on a screen or in front of you. Skeuomorphism in musical instrument design, especially digitally, is amazing in many ways. And for me to be able to put together the audio and stuff that I do, I need to have knobs and I need to have sliders and I need to have buttons and things like that, of course. But when you are telling a story, and if you're trying to do it in a sort of abstract way, you don't necessarily need to have this one-to-one mapping of stuff. And I enjoy as much as anybody else seeing a hi-hat resonate against vertices on a screen, and have that one-to-one relationship. But there's also room for slower, more thoughtful, more nuanced, subconscious kind of influences seeping in, again, back to that surrealist thought kind of idea. And that is incredibly important to me. I don't want it to be that if I come up and do the same thing, that exactly the same thing happens every time. With the tarot cards, you place the same 3 cards in 10 minutes time, it will not give you the same result as it does just now. It's built in so that it will be evolving and changing, and there's an unpredictability about it. If you are a super collider wizard who wants to go up and play with that, or you're a 15-year-old, I want you to have the same experience. I don't want, somebody who has more education or more knowledge or, knows what a low-pass filter is, to be able to go and think, well, I'm better at this. Instead, it should be about all of us connecting, joining together, and being able to do these things. So that's me and my practice. I'm going to do something for you this morning, which is called Territory. It is a piece that I have done a few times before. It's a piece for 2 walkers and 2 maps. 5 days ago, I set off on a walk in Glasgow around an arts venue called the Centre for Contemporary Arts, which sadly closed a couple of weeks ago. And I walked in a shape, which I will not give away, around that building, and I recorded myself as I did so. My colleague, Kenny, who hopefully is at the back of the room, yes he is just about to set off just now on his own spiral walk, which in a second I'm going to phone him, and he's going to phone that walk back in, and then I'm going to mix the 2 walks together, and it's as simple as that. I'm going to use that to kind of improvise around. So if Kenny sets off just now, I'm going to start things up. The last time I did this, it was with my mum. She walked around the venue where the event was, and I did one at my home. This is the first one I've done outside the UK, so it does potentially have a few rough edges on it, but I'm hoping things are going to go all right. Enjoy Territory. So it's Friday, 20th of March, 2026, just after 1:30. I'm starting the start of my walk for Territory, Part 3, to be performed in San Francisco. I'm starting from the site of the CCA, the Centre for Contemporary Arts, in Sauchiehall Street in Glasgow. A site that has a lot of different associations for me, which make it relevant to where this particular performance is starting. First of all, the Centre for Contemporary Arts is an art centre, a really amazing art centre that's been there for a very long time. Before that was a site called Third Eye Centre,
so we're walking down
which was, if anything, even more experimental and free in terms of how it operated.
There's a nice fish market here. There's always lots of activity. You know, it's nice to see the fish markets and meat markets and all that kind of stuff still here. Over in Scotland here, doomed to using supermarkets, not like Walmart, but different ones, but you know what I mean. I'm going to get to the corner of 23rd Street now. Past a nice Cuban sandwich place, which does monster sandwiches. It took me 3 hours to eat one, with some breaks obviously. So we're heading on to 23rd Street now, away from Mission. Can't get a bit quiet still, I think.
And also it's where person who is conducting other work work.
So it's definitely quieter away from the main street. Mission's where it's happening. Keep going, trying to get to the next corner. What's happening? On to the next street. Let's see what that one's going to be. This street's quite historical. Lots of nice community looking columns on the front doors. To get that Glasgow Territory, this was all about. They've been built before these were built in Glasgow until late 19th century. These are probably early 20th century, maybe 20th. But not as old as the Glasgow ones. But very good. lots of everywhere. And the right end up. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. Sadly now closed forever.
Been given a window for any questions, which obviously could relate to the installation at the back or this. If you don't have any questions, that's also absolutely fine, but if anybody has anything they want to ask or speak about, that's looking like probably a no. Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you very much again, guys. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day.